Hi everyone, it's Lisa Brown with Ink and Inspirations, and welcome to my premiere video this Thursday evening, going live on July 29th, 2021. Thank you so much for being here if you're here live, and if you watch the replay, so glad to have you. If you are here at 6 p.m. on July 29th, 2021, and you are signed into your Gmail or Google account, you can participate in the live chat with me, and I would love that. So go ahead and sign in and we can chat. I can answer your questions, and we're just going to have a fun time. Now, this evening, I have decided to do a Christmas in July version with a couple of Christmas cards that I think you're really going to like. I'll be using a set that is in the annual catalog with a few things from the new mini catalog that will go live next week. One of the cards is a fairly simple, easy to put together card with some nice details, and the other one is a fun and fancy fold that looks like it could be difficult, but it's not at all. So I hope you'll stay with us, and please comment, and if you share my video, I would appreciate that as well. Okay, so let's get started. I'm going to be using the Perfectly Plaid stamp set and Pine Tree Punch along with some other supplies for these two cards. Also, I will be using the Tidings of Christmas Designer Series paper stack. Now, this is a beautiful stack of Christmas themed papers, but the great thing about it is on the back side, most of them have pretty generic designs, so you can use them any time of the year. Look at that beautiful evening evergreen. So this stack of papers happens to be on the Designer Series paper sale that ends next Tuesday, I believe it is. Let's see, through August the 2nd, okay? And it is on sale for $9.78. So be sure you check that out. And any information I'm giving you here during the video, if you'll check in my description here on YouTube, I'll have links to the things that may be of interest to you. Also, after the video is finished, there'll be a link to my blog with all the details for these projects that you'll see tonight. Okay, so now let's get started. Look at this is our first card. It's just a fairly simple design, but it's got some elements that are just beautiful. Look at this. This is a new embossing folder, okay, that is called Merry Medley, and it is in the new mini catalog that you'll be able to get on August 3rd. You'll be able to order that. And speaking of catalogs, if you don't have a demonstrator and you need a catalog, please sure you let me know. I'll be happy to send you one along with the celebration brochure. So anyway, let's get started with this. I have my papers all cut and labeled here for your ease of me remembering what I've cut, and so that you can jot it down if you'd like. Okay, so this is the base of Cherry Cobbler, and it's cut 4 1/4 by 11 inches, okay? And then we have a piece of Whisper White. Let me get these all out here. For the textured layer, this is 4 1/2 by 4 1/4. So we're going to go ahead and texture that with that new embossing folder I just showed you. And get my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine here. I'm gonna move these Post-its out of the way. So here's some basic white. I'm just going to line this up using the staff lines here on the folder to keep it straight. And then I'll bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And for this is a 3D embossing folder, which is what we call our thicker ones now, okay? And so we need this number 1 plate on this new Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and the number 4 embossing plate, okay? So let's run that through. Okay, move this out of the way. And there you can see, look at that beautiful texture design. Isn't that pretty? I love that. Love music notes and scripty embossing folders. Just love it. Okay, so now move that out of the way, and we're going to get our card base here, and then this is just going to line up right here on the front of the card. Okay, all right, and so that's going to go there, so I can go ahead and adhere that down. I don't know about you, but when I have loose pieces on my desk, sometimes it's like finding a needle in a haystack. Can anyone relate? Okay. All right, let's put this here. All right, there we go. Okay, so now I want to have another really pretty accent here. This is a piece of the designer paper in this cherry cobbler print, and it's going to go down here. But instead of just leaving this straight across, I'm going to cut that with one of our basic borders dies. And I'm going to use this pointed angled one. And so we're going to need the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine again. So I'm going to bring that in, and this time we need our regular sandwich, is what I like to call it. The number 1 plate, okay? The number 2 plate, then a cutting plate that you can see are well loved. And right here, I have this piece that is cut. Did I tell you what that was cut? It's 2 by 4 1/4, I believe. Anyway, those details are going to be for you where you can find them easily after the broadcast here. So I'm just going to line that up and eyeball that center. Okay, let's see. Right there. Okay, and you can see I have the tip almost to the edge of the designer paper, but not to the edge, okay? In fact, I'm going to come up just a tad more. Okay, and then I'm looking to see, I want these pieces to be the same. I'm going to take a Post-it note and anchor that down. And then let's get the other number 3 embossing plate. Cutting plate, I should say, not embossing. And that moved a little bit, didn't it? I'm going to go for it. I cut an extra piece of designer paper in case, you know, just in case. Okay, let's see how that worked for us. Move that Post-it note and cut that piece off. And oh, it's not angled. It did move. You see that? Let's try it again. See, I knew there was a reason I cut this. 2 by 4 1/4. All right, let's try it again. Try it again. Okay, so that moved when I put my Post-it note on it, and I grabbed, or the top cutting plate, and it grabbed the paper. Okay, so that still doesn't look right. There we go. You know what? I wonder if I can see it better like this. Looking at it from the side is a little more challenging than doing it from straight on. You know what I mean? Like I'm over here on this side of my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. And let's see. I think that should work, y'all. If not, we'll be cutting some more paper, right? Okay. It really is a challenge here for me, looking at it from the side. I probably should have pre-cut this piece. Keep your fingers crossed. There we go. Much better. Okay. I'm going to put this up before I lose it. Get this out of the way now. And there's our pretty piece. It's still not straight on perfect, but it'll do. Okay. Okay, now I want to show you something here. You see how I have this edge right there, that cherry cobbler showing? What I have found, I don't know if you have that, sometimes when you get a piece of Whisper White, not Whisper White, Basic White, or any cardstock that you emboss, once you do that, it kind of shrinks it up a little bit because it's pulling it in. And so I wanted it to go side to side. I cut that 4 1/4. So I am going to be very brave and try to trim some of that off. Okay, so let me see here. Nope, I got to do it like this. Dare I try like this? I need to clean out my little track there. Okay, so I'm just going to go like that, and okay, that's much better. You see what I did there? Cut off that little strip of edge that was showing. And there's still a little bit there, but I don't want to chance it too much, or should I? Okay, I'm going to leave that. All right. So, note to self, probably cut your Basic White first and then cut it down to what you need, okay? Okay, so now we're going to take this piece that we die cut with the border, and we're going to line that up there and just put it along the bottom. Look at that pretty stripe there on the back. I came in here and turned my air conditioner on to try to get it cooled off in here, and it's like, oh my goodness. Okay, see how we have that? Okay, that's ready. So let's do some stamping. All right, I have an extra piece of Basic White, and I'm going to stamp wherever it is. Merry Christmas. Here it is. All right, and so I'm going to take this and cherry cobbler ink, and we're going to ink that up. And I'm going to stamp it fairly close to the edge here. Let's close this so I won't have a disaster. And then I'm going to take my everyday label punch and punch this out. I'm going to go ahead and do all of our stamping and punching. Okay, next I want to take, what do I want to do? Take my tree punch and a scrap piece of soft succulent, and I'm going to use Evening Evergreen on top of that soft succulent to make it really stand out. And I'm just using this outline of this tree, and we're going to punch it out with the pine tree punch. So here we have this. And these both, this stamp set and the punch, are in the annual catalog. Punch that out. Okay, we have those two pieces. And next, I am going to, I've already punched this. I needed an extra piece of a contrasting color of this print that I chose here. So I chose this Evening Evergreen print, and I used the Label Me Lovely punch to punch this out, okay? And so what I'm going to do now is I want to make a background for this label here, because you see if I put it there, you see how it gets lost in the Basic White. So I'm going to take my paper snips, and I'm going to cut this in half. Just cut it across. And then I'm going to take some of my glue, and I just put a little line down here toward the bottom because I don't know how much I'll end up letting show through the top, and I'm going to line it up like that, I think. Let's do that. I kind of like that. All right, let's do the same with the bottom. That. There we go. Trying to match the top and the bottom a bit. You see how you've got those little filigree swirls there? Doesn't that frame that out nicely? I love that. Okay, so next I'm going to start putting this together. So let's get some of our evening evergreen open weave ribbon. I cut probably about 16 inches to give myself plenty of room to tie. And you could tie a bow or a knot, okay? Okay, so I'm going to pull that around, and this is going to be the border between this print and this basic white textured piece. And so I'm pulling in some more of that evening evergreen color with this ribbon. So I'm just going to tie a knot. You see I have plenty of ribbon here. Okay. Bam. Okay, so then you can adjust. And on this, I just went completely around the inside of the card, and it'll give that a pretty look there. Hindsight, now that I'm thinking about this card, I think what I would have done differently here is to go ahead and cut that at 4 by, I think 4 by 4, so that I would have had the cherry cobbler border. And I could have done that before I adhered it down. So that's a lesson to me. And tip to you is don't start gluing down on your base until you're sure. You know, I thought I was sure. That's just the thing, but just thinking about it, you know how that is when you're creating. You always, after you make one, you think, okay, how could I have done that easier or better? And that's just what I've come up with. And so I'm going to use some Stampin' Dimensionals to mount this up, and that's going to be right here. And before I put that down though, this tree is going to go kind of nestle behind there, just like that. So since this is popped up on dimensionals, I'll be able to slide that little trunk down underneath there. So I can go ahead and put this down. So next week's premiere will be all about, well, it'll be like a catalog launch, okay? And I will have some little things to give away for commenting and sharing. So be sure and tune in. And there'll probably be just some fun projects with things from the new catalog. I've already designed them, and I just can't wait to show you. Okay, so see how I have that popped up? And now this is going here. All right, and then I'm going to use these holiday rhinestones that are in the annual catalog. These are great, y'all. They say holiday rhinestones, but I use them all year long. Okay, I'm gonna get my take your pick, and I'm going to use 2 of these cherry cobbler ones, one at the top and one on the bottom here. And then here, let's put 3. Just kind of scatter them. Okay, so now let's do a little fun for the inside. I did cut another piece of basic white at 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to stamp a sentiment and maybe another little Christmas tree. So I have this one, may this special season be wrapped in love and joy. So let's take Cherry Cobbler again, ink this up. So I'm going to I'll do a little giveaway for commenting too. I'll do a random draw for someone to win these projects that I'm making this evening. Okay. All right, so I've got that. Now let's take the tree and evening evergreen again. And you notice I kind of put that sentiment up toward the top. That's because I'm going to leave room to write my sentiment, sign my name. Let's get this off. You see that? If you get too energetic with your inking, you can get that around the edge, and don't want that to be a problem. I see a piece of fuzz. Okay, let's line this up, and I'm gonna stamp the tree right here. Okay, so let me close this. So variations of this card. You could totally do a solid piece of cardstock here and totally just cut this straight across, okay? Especially if you're mass producing your Christmas cards, okay? So think about that. Think about how you can do cutting ahead of time if you're wanting to make a stack. That's probably what I would do with this particular design. If I were making just a few, I would go ahead and do all of this, but you know, you could even use another piece of designer paper up there. Just make sure that it's light enough or not overbearing for where your focal point stands out, okay? All right, there's our card. And let's see, let's get an envelope ready. And that's going to be super simple. I'm going to do second generation stamping right here in the corner with this tree. So there's still ink there, and then that's ready to go. Okay? All right, let me clear this up. See if you have any questions or comments about our first card. And then the next one is a fun fold. So, whoa, you better stay tuned for that. Okay, I'm going to be cleaning a little bit and cleaning up around my area. And let's see what else I have to tell you. Oh yes, be sure after the video, there'll be a link in the description to the blog post so that you can find the information for these cards. Clean my little chamois, get these cleaned. Okay. Alrighty. Okay, and oh look, I tell you what, if you share my video, be sure you comment shared, and I will do a random drawing for someone to win this cute little peach pen, okay? So I'm gonna set that aside right now and get that ready to send out. So you can share the video, which really helps me, guys. Below, it's where it says share, and it gives you a choice of where to share it, Facebook, you know, social media. So I appreciate that, but be sure you let me know that you shared it. Not sure if I can see that on YouTube. Okay, let's see. I need this out. Put that there. Leave these here. And let me move this and get my next little tin of goodies here. Again, we're going to be using the Perfectly Plaid stamp set, and I think I have everything set up like I need. So let me show you the card. Okay, this is called, and you may have seen it, it's a, you know, simple design on the front, but look. Bam, twist and pop. Isn't that fun? When I first saw it, I thought, oh, no way. I mean, how in the world? But it's once you know what to do, it's so easy and fun. So I designed it like this using the same papers and the same stamp set. This is new ribbon. And thinking, afterthought, you know, I decided I wanted a piece of designer paper up here too. I left this one blank, this little panel blank, so that I could sign a message. And down here, what I do is sometimes I can, you know, put a gift card here, put a little adhesive on the back and stick it there. So I'll send usually wallet-sized photos in my Christmas cards, and I could put that down here. Or if you wanted more space to write, you could even make a larger basic white panel to write your message. Just all kind of possibilities, but just had so much fun playing with that. So let's get started here. And remember, these details, you're gonna find them, but seeing the video along with the details is super helpful, okay? So I'm getting my stamps out, my inks, and let's go here. Okay, so first of all, we have an evening evergreen base cut at 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. Okay, now I've made myself all kinds of notes here on my designer paper. Okay, so here are 3 pieces of that designer paper, all different patterns. Okay, so this one I'm going to use on the front. This one is going down here, and I decided to use those little pine leaves up there. 3 at 4 by 5 1/4. Glue the insides first. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put those down. So simple enough so far, right? Just a regular card base, using some beautiful designer paper, and voila. Okay, so, and I want you all to try this. If you have not made this card, you need to try it. And you know, true story here, I made several of them, just getting the hang of it and getting my head wrapped around it at first. But so that's why I'm telling you all of these little tips that I thought, aha, this is what I need to do. Okay, so there's that. And then I can go ahead and put this down just to keep it for safekeeping, you know what I mean? Don't lose it. Okay, that liquid glue in that works great. All right, so we have that. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead, no, I'm not. I'm going to go ahead and do the inside, the mechanism, okay? The mechanism that makes it all work, two of them. Okay, so first, you need a 3 by 8 piece of cardstock. And I chose the same color as my base, Evening Evergreen, okay? And I'm going to put these notes right here for myself and for you. Let's see. Okay, so now I'm going to get my trimmer in here, and we're going to do some scoring. All right, so I'm going to take this 3 by 8 piece and score it in half long ways. So that's at 1 1/2. Be sure you use your light grade scoring blade and not your cutting blade, not the dark one, okay? So we're going to score this, and I'm going to give it a good score, okay? Then we're going to do some markings. You need a pencil, okay? Oops. All right, so I'm going to mark at 2 1/2 and 5 1/2. So I'm going to just slide this in over here, to the 2.5 inch mark. Then I'm going to make a tick mark up here and then down here. Okay, now let's go to 5.5. Make a tick, whoop, I don't need that. Make a tick mark up at the top and at the bottom. Okay, 2.5 and 5.5. No scoring there. You're going to score here. You're going to make an X. So you need to put the top tick mark on the cutting track. Let's see if I can. And the bottom tick mark on the cutting track. And it's like it never fails. Once you move one, the other one moves too. So I'm trying to get the very tip of it in the track and the same up here. Okay, so now I'm going to not mess with that. I'm going to get my, oh, I just moved it. I felt it. You can use your bone folder or a scoring tool. I'm not going to put the cutting this thing down. You could, okay, and do this. But I wanted to see more of what I was doing. Okay, so there's one. We're gonna do the same thing on the other side. Here and here. And check the top and bottom each time, okay? All right, here we go. Top to bottom. All right, and I'm going to go over it again. So there we have that. Okay, so now move that out of the way, and we're going to burnish on all of these score lines. This is the ticket right here. Okay, we make like a little arrow or a little house. You'll see. Okay, so got it all. So now what you're going to do is you're going to push in on these two sides like that, okay? And ideally, these pieces here go close together, but if your cutting is just a tidge off or you're scoring, it still works. Don't struggle with that, okay? And give it a good burnish on all of those lines there. Okay, see how it makes like an arrow? Okay, point. All right, so now what we do, we're gonna get our card base again, open it up, and this is the bottom, you know, where I'm gonna have my little pop-up. And you want to take that and you want to glue that down. You do not want to glue it all the way up to that score line. It'll make their outside funky. Okay, so I'm going to go about in between the top of the designer paper and that score line. Okay, so now I'm going to take some glue. And I like to use the liquid glue because you have some wiggle room if you don't get it exactly, because as you can see, I'm just going to eyeball it and put it equidistant from each side while getting it not too close to the top. So let's see what that looks like. Looks pretty good. See what I mean by the wiggle room? You can wiggle it and get it right. Okay, so we're going to hold that a bit. I'm going to close that, press down. Isn't this fun? It is fun. You really need to try it. Okay, so next, you're going to glue here on this little triangle. And then you're going to bring this down and hold it. There's always that moment where you're thinking, am I doing this right? Okay, so I'm going to hold that down and it's going to set, okay? I think I'm going to put a block on top of it. And we're going to proceed with the next step. Excuse me. We have another piece of this evening evergreen, 3 by 10. We're going to score it at 2.5, 5, and 7.5. This is what our panels are going to be on, okay? And so we're dividing this into 4 pieces. Not 4 pieces, 4 sections. And so let me get my, I'm going to double check and make sure I cut that 1 inch off. 3 by 10. And let's see, here we go. Put that there. We're going to score at 2.5. Put that out of the way. Get that right on that line. 2.5. 5. And then we're going to open the arm out and go to 7.5. I can't tell you how many times I did this, and I scored at 2.5, 5.5, and 7. And I thought, no, it's 2, 5, and 7.5. Okay, so you see 4 sections. All right, let's get this out of the way. I don't think I need that anymore, for now anyway. Okay, so now let's just fold these in like this and give it a good crease. Now, while this is still setting here, okay, we've got this drying, we're gonna work on these panels. So, let's see. You need a coordinating designer series, cardstock that goes with your designer paper, but yet different from your base color here. So I chose Cherry Cobbler, and you need 4 at 2 3/4 by 2 1/4. Okay. So now let's do this. So those are all going to go just like that. I can go ahead and put those down. You look how beautiful that Cherry Cobbler and Evening Evergreen are for Christmas. So this little bottle here, I forget who I saw that recommended it, but I ordered them, and if you want to know the link, I'll give it to you. It's our liquid glue in there, and our liquid glue, y'all, is my favorite adhesive. You know, but I need the others for certain things, but like for like this, and if I'm going to need some wiggle room, and if I can wait on it to dry, I use the liquid glue. But this is amazing, okay? Love it. And I like it because, as I said, the liquid glue is my favorite adhesive. And it has not failed me yet. I've been using it for a week, and I've already refilled it once, and love it. Just a time saver. Okay, so there we have that. Next, 4 pieces of basic white at 2.5 by 2. Here they are, and you know they're going to layer on top of this. But these are going to have, this is going to have some stamping on it, okay? This one is going to be plain, so I'm going to go ahead, I believe that's the one that is. Yes. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down, so I don't accidentally stamp on it. Okay, there's that. Now, I'm going to stamp on 2 of these Christmas tree. And I'm using this one that's a realistic looking tree. That's again from the Perfectly Plaid stamp set. Let's see. Somewhere I'm missing my little trunk. What did I do with it, y'all? It might still be in the stamp set, hopefully. Anyway, sorry about the squirrel lane swerve there. Okay, So I'm going to ink this up, and then I'm going to stamp off and just see if I want to do it second generation. No, I want to do it first generation. I like that full look here. Okay, then I'm going to do that on another one. And then I'm going to hunt for my, if I can't find the trunk now, I'll finish it later. But I thought I had gotten it out. Who knows? It's somewhere. Don't you hate it? And it's that little bitty stamp. Here it is. Had it in the wrong box. Okay, so I'm going to take my soft suede and ink up the trunk and just pop it down there. Don't you love photopolymer? Okay, so now let's move those out of the way. These are going to go here on the ends, okay? And I had thought, you know, I ought to just go over those trees with Wink of Stella, and I still might do that, but we might try it just to see what it looks like, just to give them a little. I didn't want to put too many gems or stones on the inside to make it more bulky. And, you know, this will fit in one of our regular medium standard envelopes, but it's going to be a little thick, and it might need like an extra ounce or non-machinable postage. Okay, so I don't want to make it too thick and too heavy. Okay, so now this one is going to have the sentiment on it, and I am going to stamp that on an extra piece of basic white. That's going to go there, but I'm not going to adhere it yet. So this, I'm going to take this Christmas cheer, hoping that your busy year comes together in Christmas cheer. Well, this was too wide of a stamp for these panels, so I had to come up with something, and this always works when you are short on space and your card is not necessarily very formal, okay? You can fussy cut it out. You know, I love the fussy cutting. So what I'm going to do is just cut off this top part of the sentiment, and then just do a curvy, somewhat fussy cut. It's not too fussy because you're just going around, and you see how I'm leaving about I don't know, that it's probably more like a 1/16 of an inch around the edge. I don't want any hard edges though, so I'm curving this and coming down. Okay, so see that point there? I'm going to just take this and curve it. Then I'm going to cut these two apart. This just kind of puts your own unique touch when you do this. You know, sometimes if I know I'm going to use a certain couple of words from a sentiment, I'll do stamp surgery. I've never done stamp surgery, you know, where you cut it off, cut the rubber part. I've never done it on photopolymer, only on our red rubber. So I'm not recommending that. I'm just saying that's what I do. That's a, you know, proceed at your own risk kind of thing. Do not attempt to try this at home. Just kidding. All right, so I'm going to put Christmas and cheer. Okay. And then before I glue it, I have the little pine cone from that stamp set, perfectly plaid. I'm going to take the soft suede again. I'm going to get one of these Post-its to stamp off. So I'm going to take that pine cone, stamp off, and then come up here. Ink, stamp off, and then down here. Okay. Let's put this up. And now we can get this glued. And I know you're dying to see how this all comes together on the inside. So I'm going to do that next. And then we're going to finish the front. Or maybe I should finish the front first. Not sure. Okay, so that's ready. Yeah, let's let that dry a little bit. And let's finish the front. Okay, so I have some pieces die cut already. This is some new sparkle ribbon that I've already pre-cut that we will be in the, and that's what I didn't do. No, I didn't. It's right. This is in the mini catalog. I need to finish my sentences. Sorry, y'all. It's like I start panicking because I can't. I think I did something wrong. Then I use the Stitch So Sweetly dies, this larger rectangle, and these two labels, Evening Evergreen and Basic White. And so this is going to go here as our layer. Isn't that pretty? And that's where you take this ribbon. And I guess I cut about, I don't know, 18 to 20 inches because my thought was to tie a bow. So let's see how this works. Look at that pretty glitter. Tie a bow and get that on, and then we can put our sentiment. Let's flip this around. Oops. Okay, we can play with this later, but I'm gonna go ahead and trim it off to be done with it for now. Okay, so now this evergreen label is going to go like that. And so I'm going to go ahead and glue this down. So I'm putting it equidistant, top, bottom, side to side. Okay, that works. Then this piece, this label here, and again, these are from the Stitched So Sweetly dies from the big annual catalog. Put that there. Come down just a tad. There's that wiggle room I needed again, side to side. Then we're going to stamp on this label. Okay, so, oh, I got ink on it or something. Something got right there. Okay, so I'm gonna have to figure out a way to cover that up. I'm not gonna worry about it right now. I don't know what that is. Okay, so I'm gonna take the Merry Christmas again and Cherry Cobbler. Oh, look, that's where it came from. Ink on the finger. I should wipe my hands in between each transaction, if you know what I mean. Let me get up before I make another mess. Clean my hand here. All right, let's see. I'm gonna do this. Let's go ahead and put this down. And then I'm going to take I thought that these beautiful opal brands went just right with this ribbon. So I'm going to use 2 of those. And then I know you're getting excited about the inside. I'm just going to put this here. Okay. All right, there's that. Now for the magic. Are you ready? So fun. All right, for the magic. See how that popped open? Okay, but now we got a twist and pop. So I'm going to fold that down just a little. Okay, so this is going to go here on the inside, all right? So I'm going to put some adhesive right here on this top and then right here on this left corner, okay? So upper right, lower left. And you don't want to come too far in, okay? So I'm going to leave a little bit of space between that just so I don't, you know, just so I don't get it too close where it doesn't want to twist and pop, okay? So you don't want to go below the score line here in the middle. So I'm going to use Stampin' Seal Plus for this. And I'm going to go about like that. And I may come over a little bit right here. Okay, and then over here on this lower corner, I'm going to do the same thing. Don't go above that score line. Oop, went a little far over, but I think I'm okay. You know, you want it to stick, but so I'm going to go here and match the corner to corner. You see how I'm doing that? Corner to corner. And press down. Okay, and then fold this in like this so this fits right here. Match corner to corner at the bottom. Press down. Then you have to push in and train it to go how you want it to go. Look at that. Love it. Okay, look. Bam. Isn't that so fun? I love it. And y'all, I can't tell you how long I have seen this and thinking, there is no way. And then I finally found the directions and I thought I'm going to try it. Twist and shout. Not twist and shout. Twist and pop. I love it. You have to try it. You must try it. Okay? And so there's the card there. Okay, and so I'm going to do a drawing for commenting, and you'll win these 2 cards, whoever wins. And then for sharing, I'm going to send this little peach pen that I made, and the video is here on my YouTube channel, so you should find that. So thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure that you check the description for the link to the blog post that has all this information on it. And next week, Thursday, 6 p.m. Central, be here. New catalog launch, 3 projects, new stuff, and it's not all Christmas. It's a little mixture, okay? And so I hope you'll join me. If I can help you with anything, let me know. I am still that host code is current until July 31st, and I have a few prizes I'm sending out for people that get an order by July 31st. So if I can help you, let me know. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you again soon. Have a great evening, everyone. Good night. And one more thing, I almost forgot. The winner for commenting last week during the live premiere is Melinda Guy, and she'll be receiving both of the cards that I created in last week's premiere. So thank you all for being here. Thank you for commenting and sharing my video, and I'll see you again next week. Take care. Bye-bye.